In the presentations video, I referenced how storyboards are used as a sort of draft when it comes to creating animation. In this mission, I'd like to talk about that concept a bit more. That concept being rough drafts. Rough drafts, in essence, are just rougher versions of an art piece created in the pursuit of a polished final draft. In the final draft, all of the ideas that you have come up with come together to form as much of a polished outcome as possible.
I had a bit of an existential crisis writing this review because I know that I'm being way more positive on Crossroads than virtually anyone else on the internet. It's sort of the popular game to hate right now, at least until Avengers comes out, and I really started to question if my standards were too low because I play so many dodgy games for the channel, or if I'm too nice to this because I like the Fast and the Furious, but I guess there are so many games that I try to review for the channel but just don't because they're too awful, and this is definitely not one of those. I see Fast and Furious Crossroads as a series of hoops you have to jump through, or problems you have to turn a blind eye to before you can enjoy it, and even then you still need to enjoy the movies and the arcade racing genre.
This might sound a little harsh, but when it comes down to ideas versus execution, many will prefer a good execution from a generic idea rather than the bad execution of a good idea.
Original ideas aren't enough to make a movie good, and something can still be good without having original ideas. Stranger Things doesn't have a single original idea at all, and it's generally seen to be pretty good. Everybody likes it. The prequels have a lot of unique ideas, yeah, and they're not presented in a good way at all in these movies.
This is because the execution is what results in the final product being considered good, resulting in an experience that isn't frustrating. Of course, expectations are another factor, where anything that takes millions upon millions in currency from professionals is no doubt going to have higher expectations than a fan game created by a small team or just one person. A fan game being a game made about an existing property, but was not made by the publishers who own said property, such as this Mario fan game here.
Another thing I really want to mention is how the game manages to get me interested at the start. Sure, the initial premise of being trapped in a creepy house is a little bit of an overdone idea, but in the end, it's all about the execution. We know why we've come here, we know that there is something strange about the mansion, and now that we've been put into a situation where we can't leave, we have no choice but to explore and discover its hidden horrors for ourselves.
Though with that said, it doesn't mean that said fan game is immune from criticism all of a sudden, regardless of how well it may seem to the many others who like it, or vice versa.
I feel like the reasons that people say this game is so great is because of how much effort obviously went into making it, and how shocking some of its content is. And yes, the effort is something that definitely should be acknowledged, especially for someone's first game, but that doesn't automatically make it perfect. And no, saying that doesn't mean I'm just trying to be a jerk. It means that I'm forming my opinion based on what is presented in the final product.
To some of you, it may seem as if making the same version of the same art piece might just be a big waste of time. However, that isn't quite the case. Even though some of us can write an essay in the span of a day, that doesn't necessarily mean that all of our ideas are laid out in a manner that we are satisfied with at the end of the day. And believe it or not, letting the draft sit for a while you head out doing something else is a great way to see your errors when you come back to it later. That's because working on a project can wear people out over time. This in turn can result in a strange type of tunnel vision, where you wouldn't even be able to notice the blatant mistakes until looking it over again and seeing it there plain as day. So to help you all appreciate drafts a little bit more, check below for your challenge. Good luck and have fun!